Hey, coin lovers. Have you ever found a coin lying around and thought, I wonder if this could make me a millionaire? Well, buckle up because today, I'm going to share the incredible story of a 1949 Abraham Lincoln penny that could be worth a jaw-dropping $3 million. No, this isn't some crazy hoax, you heard me right, $3 million. So, let's dive in and find out how this penny could be your golden ticket. You'll want to keep watching, because if you have one of these hiding in your change jar, you might just have a serious cash cow on your hands. So, let's start with the basics, a 1949 Lincoln penny. Sounds pretty normal, right? Like, you'd probably toss it in your pocket and forget about it. But let me tell you something, this little penny has a secret. A big one. It's all about that no mint mark on it. You see, in 1949, the mint was supposed to mark these pennies with a tiny little letter to indicate where they were made, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Most of them came with the D or S for the mint cities, but some, well, they slipped through the cracks and came out with nothing. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's so special about a little no mark? It's just a little mistake, right? Well, that's where the story gets interesting. These no mint mark pennies are incredibly rare, like finding a needle in a haystack, or spotting a unicorn while grocery shopping. And you know how rare things tend to get a little more valuable, right? That's right, these bad boys can sell for a pretty penny, no pun intended. So, here's where it gets even crazier. Imagine you're just chilling at home, doing your thing, maybe scrolling through Instagram or binge-watching Netflix, when you decide to go through your old coins. You find this 1949 penny, and you're like, it's just a penny. But then, you look closely, and, bam, no mint mark. Suddenly, your penny isn't just some forgotten piece of copper, it's a literal treasure chest. Now, let's get to the value part. We've already established that this 1949 no mint mark penny is rare, but how rare is it? Well, one of these pennies in mint condition, meaning, it looks like it just came out of a fresh roll, can be worth upwards of $3 million. And yes, you read that right, $3 million. Think about it, you could sell that one penny and retire to an island somewhere, sipping piña coladas and watching the sunset. Not too bad, right? But here's the catch, finding one in mint condition is not exactly easy. Most of these pennies were spent, used, tossed around, and worn down over the years. If you've got one of these gems in your collection, it's got to be in pristine shape to even approach that $3 million mark. It's like finding a rare Pokemon, only this one could buy you a house. And hey, if it's not in perfect condition, don't worry. Even a well-worn 1949 penny with no mint mark can still fetch a pretty good price. Now, I can already hear you thinking, how do I know if I have one of these rare pennies? How can I tell if it's worth millions or just another penny? Great question. The first step is to check the date and look for that lack of mint mark. A mint mark, or lack thereof, will be right below Abraham Lincoln's chin on the obverse side of the coin. If there's no letter, you're in the money, my friend. And you know, it's funny because I remember when I first started collecting coins. I had no idea what I was doing. One day, I found a penny, and I thought, hey, this looks kinda old. It was a 1949, but I didn't know the whole no mint mark thing back then. So, I just tossed it in a jar with the rest of my coins, completely oblivious to the fact that I might have been holding on to something worth thousands of dollars. I actually ended up using that penny for a candy bar. Can you imagine? A candy bar. Facepalm moment for sure. Don't make the same mistake I did. So, to wrap things up, keep an eye out for those 1949 no mint mark pennies. If you find one, make sure you check the condition carefully, and get it appraised if you think it's in good shape. Who knows? You might just have a $3 million penny sitting in your pocket right now. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins and make some serious cash, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next video. Until then, happy hunting, coin lovers. Alright, folks, you're about to hear about a coin that could make you a millionaire, no joke. That dusty, old penny sitting in your jar might just be worth more than your car, your house, maybe even your life savings. Stick around because I'm about to tell you about a 1966 Abraham Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, that's worth $2.80 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.8 million. So, grab your magnifying glass, because this could be the most valuable penny you've ever seen. Now, let me set the stage. It's 1966. The world's groovin' to the Beatles, we've got bell-bottoms, and coin collectors were still flipping pennies for fun. But little did they know, one specific penny was about to make history and seriously disrupt some bank accounts. And no, it wasn't just another run-of-the-mill Lincoln penny. It's the elusive, and might I say, extremely rare, 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You see, in 1966, the U.S. Mint mistakenly left off the mint mark from some of the pennies that were supposed to be made in Philadelphia. While this was a huge error, it's turned out to be the jackpot for coin collectors. Now, if you're thinking, wait, isn't a penny just a penny? Well, my friend, that's where you're wrong. This little gem could get you a cool $2.8 million in the right market. Can you believe it? A coin worth more than some people's yearly salary. Imagine if you found one while digging through a pile of spare change. You'd probably think it's just another penny, until you realize the insane value of the one sitting in your hand. That it all boils down to rarity. You know how some things become valuable just because they're hard to find? Think of it like a limited edition sneaker drop or a rare collectible action figure. The 1966 no-mint mark penny is like that, rare, unique, and worth way more than it appears. So, you're probably wondering, how do I know if my penny's worth millions? The first step is to look closely at that mint mark. If you don't see a D or S, which would mean the penny was minted in Denver or San Francisco, and it's from 1966, bingo. You might have a serious find on your hands. But don't just stop there, take it to an expert or get it graded. The condition of the coin can seriously affect its value. It needs to be in prime shape, like a collector's dream come true. Now, here's a fun story. A couple of years ago, I was rummaging through a box of old coins I inherited from my grandmother. I didn't expect much, just a few nickels, some dimes, and a ton of those unwanted pennies. I picked one up, thinking it was just another old piece of change, and wouldn't you know it, it was a rare 1943 copper penny. I could have sworn I saw a halo around it when I realized it was worth around $100,000. Needless to say, I felt like a kid in a candy store. But here's where you come in. If you have a collection of old pennies lying around, or if you're wondering if that shiny one in your pocket is more than just pocket change, now's the time to check. I mean, I'm not saying you should start flipping over every penny you see, but take a closer look. The good news is, the 1966 no-mint mark penny doesn't have to be in perfect condition to be valuable, just rare enough. Even a well-worn one can fetch you a pretty penny. So, if you've learned anything today, it's that not all pennies are created equal. The 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a serious treasure that could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams, well, if you're lucky enough to find one. But hey, you never know, maybe your change jar is full of hidden gems. Before you run off and start hunting for that jackpot penny, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss more tips and tricks on finding rare coins that could be worth millions. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends who need to know about this wild story. And who knows, maybe next time I'll be helping you cash in on your coin fortune. Catch you later. Have you ever checked your pocket change and thought, could I be sitting on a gold mine? Well, what if I told you that a coin as common as a penny could be worth millions? Yes, millions. You heard me right. I'm talking about the 1971 Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy could be worth up to $2.5 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, there's no way I've got a penny worth that much. Well, hold your horses, because we're diving into the juicy details of why this penny might just be hiding in your collection, or even in your change jar at home. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Stick around to find out if you've got a hidden treasure waiting for you. Alright, let's get into it. So, you've probably heard of rare pennies that can be worth a ton of cash, but the 1971 Abraham Lincoln penny is a bit special. First, let me break down why this penny is such a big deal. Now, in 1971, the US Mint made some changes to the way pennies were produced. They started minting them with an S mint mark, meaning they were made in San Francisco. But here's the kicker, most of these pennies were minted in normal, mass quantities, so you're probably thinking, why would my regular old 1971 penny be worth anything? Well, here's where the magic happens. You see, some of the 1971 pennies were struck with a double die, a mistake that occurred during the minting process. This means that the design on the penny is imprinted twice, and when it happens, it makes the coin look weird, almost like it's been stamped with a blurry version of Abraham Lincoln's face. Pretty cool, right? But not just any 1971 penny with a double die is worth a fortune. These bad boys need to be in pristine condition to fetch the big bucks. We're talking about mint condition, as if someone pulled it straight from the mint and handed it to you with a bow. So if your penny looks like it's been through the wringer, scratches, dirt, or tarnish, then you're probably not looking at the $2.5 million one. But hey, don't give up hope just yet. Now, here's where my personal story comes in. A few years ago, I was absolutely certain that I had a few pennies worth a ton of cash. I mean, come on, I was practically swimming in change, and surely, a few of them had to be worth something. So, I did what any reasonable person would do, I took a look at a random penny from my jar of spare change. It was a 1971 and of course, I immediately convinced myself it was the one. I started Googling, how to get your 1971 penny graded, ready to cash in on my fortune. Spoiler alert, it wasn't worth $1 million. It wasn't even worth $1. But I did learn something valuable that day, not every old coin is a treasure. You gotta do your research, and you've gotta know what you're looking for. And that's exactly what I want to help you with today. So, let's talk about how you can tell if your 1971 penny is worth something. First, check the details. Does Lincoln's portrait look a little off? Are the words, "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," doubled or blurry? That's your first clue. Next, you'll want to get that coin graded. Trust me, don't skip this step. A professional grading company can give you an accurate assessment of the coin's condition, which will help you figure out its value. And here's a pro tip, if your coin has a crazy-looking error, it could be worth even more than the double die. Maybe your 1971 penny has a misstruck design or a minting flaw. Those types of errors can skyrocket the price, especially if there's only a handful of them out there. So, in a nutshell, the 1971 Abraham Lincoln penny might just be one of the most valuable coins you've never thought twice about. Who knew a little mistake during the minting process could turn an average penny into $1 million masterpiece? Now, the big question, do you have one of these pennies hiding in your collection? Or maybe just rolling around in your pocket right now? If you think you do, or even if you're just curious, make sure you take a closer look at your coins. And hey, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins that could make you rich. I've got plenty of other valuable coin discoveries to share, so stay tuned for more. Do you ever think you've got a rare penny lying around and then realize it's just another shiny one? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you that there's a 1978 Lincoln penny out there right now that's worth, wait for it, $2.3 million. Yeah, I know, you probably just checked your pockets, didn't you? Well, don't feel bad. I'll walk you through how you can spot a coin that could make you a fortune. Stick around because I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about this insanely valuable penny, and by the end of this video, you might just be running to your piggy bank to check for one of these bad boys. Alright, so you're probably thinking, okay, how in the world is a regular 1978 D Lincoln penny worth millions? Well, here's the thing, while most pennies from this year aren't worth much more than a couple of cents, this specific penny, and it's a very specific one, is one of the rarest finds in the numismatic world. Let me break it down for you. The 1978 D penny in question has an extremely rare, super specific error that makes it stand out. So here's what happened. The D Mint mark, which stands for the Denver Mint, was struck with an error that caused some pennies to have a weird misprint. Instead of looking like a clean, crisp D, the mint mark was slightly off-center, creating a noticeable flaw. Now, if you find one of these babies in your pocket change, you could be sitting on a literal goldmine. You're looking at a potential $2.3 million if it's in mint condition and has that error. Well, most pennies from 1978 are common as dirt, but this tiny little error makes this coin one of the most sought after in the coin collecting world. Coin collectors go absolutely bananas for error coins. They're like the unicorns of the coin world, rare, magical, and worth a whole lot of money. Now, before you start pulling out every penny you've ever owned to search for one of these, let me tell you this, finding one of these error pennies isn't easy. I remember once getting super excited when I thought I found a rare penny in my change. I held it up to the light, inspected it, and thought I struck gold. Turns out, it was just a dirty 1982 penny, and the flaw was a piece of chocolate stuck to it. Talk about a disappointment. So, trust me, I know the thrill and the letdown of chasing rare coins, but this one is different. So, if you find yourself with a 1978 D penny, you'll want to check the mint mark carefully. Look for any misalignment or odd marks. If it's off-center or looks weird in any way, you could be holding the coin of a lifetime. And make sure it's in good shape. Condition matters more than you'd think. A poorly preserved penny won't fetch nearly as much as one that's been well kept. Coin collectors are a passionate bunch, and with error coins, it's like a cult following. They're the ones bidding millions of dollars on the right pieces. In fact, some of the highest-selling error pennies have gone for millions, and the 1978 D penny is no exception. If you've got one, you're sitting pretty. But the trick is knowing what to do with it once you've found it. You can't just toss it on eBay without doing some homework. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way. My first eBay coin listing didn't exactly go as planned. The good news is you don't have to be a pro to sell your coin for a pretty penny, pun intended. Just make sure you get it appraised by an expert and do your research. So, now that you know about this incredible 1978 D penny, it's time to go through that jar of change you've been hoarding. Don't toss out anything without taking a closer look. There's real value hidden in plain sight. And who knows? You might just be holding onto a $2.3 million treasure without even knowing it, but hey, don't stop there. If you want more insider tips, coin values, and strategies to find coins worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the community of coin enthusiasts who are in it for the treasure hunt. You won't want to miss out on the next big find. You ever stumble upon something so simple that you can't believe it's worth a small fortune? I mean, I found a penny in my couch cushions last week, and guess what? It didn't make me a millionaire, but it could have been. Why? Well, there's a specific penny, from 1987, that could actually be worth a cool $2 million. Yep, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1987 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark. Stick around because this coin has a crazy story, and it might just be hiding in your pocket right now. So let's dive into the juicy details. You probably know that most pennies minted in 1987 have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco mint mark. But there's that rare exception, the 1987 penny with no mint mark. And by rare, I mean it's one of those coins that people will literally pay millions for. Why? Because it's a total mistake, and mistakes can be very valuable in the coin world. Now, you might be asking yourself, how did this happen? Was the mint just asleep on the job one day? Well, sorta. It turns out that a few pennies in 1987 were produced at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, which is a little unusual because coins from the Philly Mint are usually stamped with a P. Most of these went unnoticed at first, but coin collectors caught wind of it, and suddenly, this error penny became a treasure, and this isn't just any old penny we're talking about. Some of these 1987 no mint mark pennies have sold for up to $2 million. Now, let's be real, most of the time, error coins don't go for that much, but there are collectors who go crazy for mistakes like this. It's kind of like finding a rare trading card in the back of your cereal box. You just don't know how valuable it could be until you've done a little digging. Speaking of digging, let me tell you a little story from my own experience. One time, I was out at a yard sale, and I found this old tin can filled with loose change. The lady told me it was all junk change, and I was about to walk away, but something told me to take a closer look. Sure enough, nestled in the bottom was a 1955 double-die penny. I couldn't believe my eyes. I paid $1 for the whole tin, and that penny ended up being worth over $300. Just goes to show, you never know what you might find, and it could change your financial situation in a heartbeat. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find a $2 million penny at a yard sale, though hey, I wouldn't be mad if you did. But this is why it's so important to check your pennies, even the ones you toss into the jar when you get home from work. I mean, it's so easy to just throw them away or ignore them, right? But when you're talking about pennies that could be worth millions, you've got to pay attention. Okay, let's get back to this 1987 no mint mark penny. So, how do you know if you have one? It's all about checking the date and looking for that mint mark, or lack of one. If you've got a 1987 penny with no D or S stamp, you might have a rare, highly valuable coin. But here's the kicker, most of these pennies are probably going to be in pretty worn condition, which means they won't fetch $2 million unless they're in mint condition. So if you've got one with crisp, sharp details, you might be holding onto a small fortune. So, what's the takeaway here? If you have a 1987 penny with no mint mark, you might be sitting on a gold mine, or rather, a copper one. Always check your change before you toss it, and if you have a penny that you think might be valuable, get it checked out by a professional. You never know what treasure you might be holding in your hands. And hey, if you've got a lucky penny or even a lucky story to share, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, and hey, if you want more tips on how to find rare coins worth serious cash, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We've got more cool coin stories, tips, and tricks coming your way to help you on your journey to finding your very own fortune. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe for more awesome coin tips, and don't forget to share this video with anyone who needs to know about this $1 million penny. You never know, one of them might just strike it rich.